Hello everyone, I am Blankera, and today we're going to continue rigging Shalom from Path to Nowhere. We're just taking a look at some things this morning, and I think the angle on this little piece underneath the front bang is a little bit off. So I wanted to go poke him just a little bit this morning. The angle is slightly off. So it should be a pretty quick fix. See if it still lets me keep the effect that I wanted on this part, and it looks like it is not. That's probably why I had it angled like that in the first place. Let's see if I can get that back. It's worth a try. It's always at least worth a try. Just see what I can manage here. Alright, let's see if that's any better. Just doing my usual small morning corrections while I can see them, and while I have a fresh mind to be able to go look at everything again. I also think it should connect just a little bit to the right here. Or these two halves that make up this underneath part should connect right over here. Not actually quite sure why I separated them, but I did. So here we are. I'll connect them just slightly over there. Alright, how is this? Let's take a look. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. Still keeping the effect of this dark area getting a little bit closer, since her head is turning downward. Alright, I think there's probably some other things over there that I'm going to want to poke at some point. But there's some other small correction I want to make on the other side. And let's see. What I was noticing was that this strand here is kind of fanning upward. And I actually think it looks okay. So what I'm wondering is if I can kind of move that effect up into this part too. First, I want to take some time to stare at this and really get a good feel for how it works. This way I can make accurate adjustments for the rest of it. Oh, actually I changed my mind. I think I just need to move it down slightly. I had an idea in my head, but I don't actually think it would solve the problem that I'm looking at. So I'll keep it simple. Keep it simple and just push this little strand down a little bit. I don't think it's that far off, so hopefully that'll be enough. Not quite. Needs a little bit more. Like, this area's a little complicated, so I'm not surprised that it took me more than one attempt to get that. Like, look at everything going on here. I gave it a very nice detailed mesh. So I have very good control over this area. It's very nice. Way to go past me. Making good decisions. Alright, maybe something like that. Yeah, I think that's better. Alright. Now getting into some of the changes that I made yesterday. We just take another look at the bang here, because I remember seeing some twisting that I didn't really like right through there. But I want to look at the whole thing. Just check my work from yesterday. Is, yeah, there's a little bit of wrinkling going on right through here. Nothing serious, but enough that I kind of want to fix it. It's alright, I'll just take this nice and slow, make those little adjustments, and everything will look that much better once the entire thing is finished. Yeah, and I can see it kind of bubbling weirdly right in the corner there. I don't know how to describe it other than bubbling, even though there's no bubbles involved. It just kind of what the motion reminds me of for some reason. Yes, bubbling and wrinkling hair. Good morning, Vivi. Are you having trouble sleeping again? Alas. Insomnia is truly the worst. I'm glad to have you here regardless. You're just making progress through the bangs here. Just a little bit of weird movement over in the corner. Hoping to get rid of it. Let me actually make sure it's on, what I'm seeing is on that layer. I'm pretty sure it is. But I want to double check. Yes, it is. Let me see here. What is it? I think I might have actually moved it in the wrong direction. I think it might actually be sliding upward, not downward. See how far through the tips of the bangs I can get today. Hoping to get through most of them. Everything else after this should be a little bit more straightforward. I always do feel like these areas right in front of the face always take me the longest. I think I just notice more problems because I'm more actively looking for them. Face is just too important. Do not want to skip out of the details around the face. But this area has been giving me a bit of trouble. So I'm kind of hoping to get through that today. It's kind of funny, in the side turns, this bang didn't give me this much trouble. It was the other one that did. Just because the tips on the other one are a pain. I'm not quite sure why I cut them like that, but here we are. That was the decision that was made, and I don't feel like fixing it, so it's just going to be like that forever. Today should hopefully be a fairly sleepy day for me, though. As, Monday is the day that my husband's parents take the kids for a while. So I just kind of have the day to do whatever I happen to feel like. And it's always kind of nice. Like, my dad takes them on Saturday, and then my husband's parents take them on Monday. So I just kind of have a couple of days to do stuff. That tends to be when I catch up on a lot of my art-related things. Occasionally I might play a video game if I'm not feeling up for like 8 hours of art, but a lot of the time I actually am. I've been very enthusiastic about it lately, so it's been nice. Wouldn't even believe that I was in a bit of a slump a couple of weeks ago. I think just drawing something where I didn't really worry about the outcome at all and just kind of did what I felt like helped a lot. Now it's all back, and I am happy. Oh, do you have anything interesting going on today or this week? Okay. There we go. I think that's looking better. Oh, I can go back to the other side. Continue where I left off yesterday. Well, that's important too. One of those things that just kind of have to dig into, I suppose. Oh. Lost track of the layer for a second there. Right now, I'm just trying to get the gradient kind of going into the right area here. Just starting from the top and working my way down. Once I know I can trust what I built for the top, it's much easier to just work my way down. I know whenever everything's looking right relative to the stuff that I am pretty sure is right, then it's likely that it is also a bit right. A bit right, sure. Until I'm still a little half asleep. I got really, really comfy on the couch before starting streaming today. I'm still a little bit half asleep. That couch is just way too comfy, man. Just sucks me in and I can never escape. And it's alright. I should be able to shake off the grogginess. At the very least, it's not really interfering with my ability to notice things here. I feel like my observational skills are on point today. And all the changes I'm making are helping in some way. Just the language part of my brain is lagging like, I don't know, 10 seconds behind, and it's barely knows what's going on right now. Oh yeah. Yes, it happens. I just always think it's kind of funny when it does. It's like my brain is trying to say something, but it's over on the couch still. Because the couch is too comfy. It doesn't want to get up. Just wants to stay there forever. Alright, guess I should stop procrastinating and actually get the top most part of this bang looking the way I want it to. Let it stop sliding around. I think I know what I was going for with this, but with all the other strands in place now, it just kind of looks kind of weird. I just gotta fix it up. Fix it up real quick. Make it so it's not squirming around anymore. And then everything will be fine. A lot of things work out in the end. Yeah, that's a bit better. Just gotta fix the shadow piece underneath it. So this way I feel like if we're seeing the top of it, there should actually be a little bit less shadow showing. So I'm trying to make it nice and thin. Thin and a bit less noticeable than it is on the front view. I imagine once I do the upward turn, I'll be doing the exact opposite and making that dark area a little bit more noticeable. A little bit thicker. Just making mental notes to myself as I work on all this. Things to remember when it comes time to work on the final head turn there. Well, before I go back and polish things up and get ready for the corners. The corners are going to be kind of a nightmare, but they pretty much always are. It's fine. Just trying to straighten things out here. This is one thing I was noticing is when this was when things were moving down here was that the shape right here, the angle of this area was getting really, really different, and I didn't think it looked very good. Still kind of is. You can see it's right through here. It's kind of compressing inward, or outward. Yes, outward. And I think it still looks a bit strange. Everything up top is looking a lot better, though. Just gotta do one thing at a time. trying to do more than one thing at a time will just get me overwhelmed. So, one thing at a time. Start up here and gradually make my way down. It's a good way to be. I actually don't mind the way that it's poofing out like that. I think right now the effect might be a little bit too strong, but the idea is fine. Okay, now there's definitely some shifting angles in there. I'm actually going to take a look at the mesh version here. Yeah. It's mostly just these outer ones. I moved the angle on them. They were pointing downwards instead of toward the side there. There we go. That's a little bit better. Now we just gotta get rid of the wrinkles. Getting into very fine adjustment territory, but I think it is necessary here. It's like you can even when I'm zoomed in 700%, I can still see her eye on the screen, so very close to the face here. And it's also an area that'll probably help me define the rest of the hair around it, right through there. So I want to get it right. I think it's important. And I think my brain is starting to get up from the couch, so I'm feeling a bit more awake now. It's funny, I wasn't even sleepy when I went onto the couch today. It was just... the couch is just that comfy. Gets me every time. Alright, I'm gonna take a look at these highlights right here and, like, right there. Make sure they are all going to the right place. So far, mostly okay, but this side is a little bit off. It'd be a little bit higher. It's like I had finished that part earlier, but since I made some changes around it and since there's more hair showing now, it's not surprising to me that I have to tweak it a little bit in order to get it all to look right. Yeah, there we go. That's a lot better, I think. Just going to adjust the angle on this highlight here. Yeah, there we go. Now I can start moving on back down. Because I think that area is looking a lot better now. So I think the big issue down here was that the angle on the inner side was wrong and it was making everything squirm across her face weirdly. So that's the first thing I want to fix. And I'm just moving the change all the way down to line things up a little bit better there. Because otherwise it'll look weird, it'll be in like the corner of my eye and it'll bother me. Just doing the basics for the time being until I get that particular area right, and you can see here this is still not it. But this time, I definitely see some shifting, so I want to take care of that first. It's figuring out exactly where everything should be is kind of the first step here. And right now I'm seeing this highlight moving over to the sides. That tells me that the vertices in the center should be a little bit more toward the right. But the way this angle is changing over here tells me that the vertices on the outside need to be more toward the left. But I'm kind of using this highlight here as a guide. And I think once I get that particular highlight in the right place, then I'll have a good idea of where everything should, where all these vertices should be going, at least in terms of left and right. So I'm kind of using right here as a guide there. Yeah, still going a little bit to the left. That does tell me that it's the center one that needs to go a little bit further to the right. And since even this side is still not quite in the right place, it just means that I need to pull these outside ones a little further to the left still. Just propagate that downward. At least far enough that it won't bother me while I'm trying to figure out this part. Yeah, there we go. This is just a case of pick a point, stare at it, wait until it's no longer squirming all over the place. Oh, one moment. My headphones cut out on me. Let me go fix them. Alright, there we go. They've been doing that more frequently lately. It's a bit unfortunate. The real unfortunate part is that I'm not sure if it's the headphones or just that they don't like being plugged into my speakers. I used to plug them directly into the computer, but for whatever reason my computer stopped recognizing them when I did that after I hooked up the speakers. So I've just been plugging them into the speakers. At some point I might, actually take the time to figure out what's going on there and why things are not working the way I expect, but I have lots of other things I want to do too, so I just haven't gotten around to it. It's been on my to-do list for probably 2 months now. That's kind of been the nature of my to-do list lately. Stuff goes on there and never know when it's gonna come up. It's a mystery. something going on over here. This might also be what's making some of the angle look a bit strange. Wonder if I can get away with tucking this layer a little bit more underneath there. I think it actually looks okay. I just need to push it a little bit higher. Oh, not that one. Today is the day of fine adjustments. Very, very fine adjustments. I think that's okay. There are days like that where there's just little tweaks that have to be done. And I kind of feel like that's the purpose of the time when I start just going down strands and lining everything up correctly. A lot of things just become smaller tweaks. They're less exciting, but I think they're very necessary. I think actually even here, I still want it to be a little bit higher up. And then I can make this part go a little bit higher up. But considering that the area around here is, you know, right next to the eyes, I do want to make sure I get it right. Okay. I think some of that's looking better. And I'm thinking, let me see. Just want to double check the angle on these triangles in the front view. Yeah, these should all be in roughly the right place. The area is just not quite cooperating with me in the way I'd hope. So right now, what am I seeing here? What exactly do I see? So, in the front view, I see that the bang goes this way. Whereas when I'm going down, kind of starts compressing over here. And this line is not very straight. So that probably means that I want to take all the vertices from about here down and move them slightly to the left, or right. Yes, to the right. So now I should be able to get this straighter and have everything still line up properly. Things got a little bit stretched over there at the bottom, but I'll worry about that later. One thing at a time. One thing at a time. I have to remind myself constantly. Otherwise, I'll try to do like 5 things at a time, and well, that's just not very effective. I can only click in one area at a time. It's the nature of my brain. It just wants to do all the things. It doesn't want to choose. It's very excitable. Alrighty. Let's see here. Like, since I have nothing in particular to do today, if I ever want to break from drawing, I think I might actually finally get around to reading Oak Casket's interrogation. Hers has been next to my list. Goes to show how far behind I am, because she's been out for a while. It's like I'm trying to remember. I figured that at some point most interrogations would be voiced, but it actually seems like that's not happening. So I think I stopped a while back because I was just waiting for the voiced version to be released. And then I just got busy. But I do want to kind of start going through them again. I need to catch up. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I've already gone through all the ones that are voiced. I was just figuring that at some point all of them would be, but yeah, that doesn't seem to be the case. Probably more focused on making new content than updating old content, and I guess I can understand that. In the end, the new stuff is where the money is, so kinda got to expect it to an extent. I do think it's a bit of a shame, though, because the voice acting in Path to Nowhere has been pretty good so far. The delivery has definitely enhanced some of the events for me. I'm glad that they finally went and voiced the Eternal Nightmare ones. I always thought it was kind of a shame that they didn't voice those. It's like I've considered going back and rereading Vanilla's Eternal Nightmare story, just because I heard that it got voiced again, but I haven't had a chance. I may or may not ever have a chance. But it's been something I've been vaguely interested in doing. I'd be curious to see how her actress handles some of those lines. Hers is a bit more subdued than some of the other ones, but I liked it. Alright, I think I'm finally getting somewhere. Angle right here, though. It is not happy with me. I hope it's just because I'm not going too far this way. That would be deeply unfortunate. Alright, so I think I'm just gonna do the same thing I did on the other side, since this side is giving me a bit of trouble still. Just gonna go through and try to align the vertices based on the front view, because I don't think these should be moving that much. And hopefully that'll fix my problems. Well, let's see here. Starting around here. Starting near the top, and I'm just looking for whichever ones catch my eye as squirming the most. And I think once I get rid of the big squirmers, everything should start coming together a little bit more strongly. Yeah, I think this is already making a difference. Just finding where these little spots that just aren't lining up correctly are. And then just getting them all into a better spot. Or hopefully they will be a little bit more content. Right now it already kind of feels like the triangles are squirming less, so let's take a look at how it all looks. Yeah, there we go. That's better. Honestly, I might just keep doing that all the way down. Probably something relatively unique to this area, since I don't think the vertices should be moving very much at all. Or I guess not necessarily to this area, but to this angle. At least as things go down the tips. Probably a bit different further up in the head. We'll probably end up making more changes on the top of her head. Kind of want to make it the top of her head look a little bit wider. For perspective reasons. Make it look like it's coming forward a little bit. Yeah, there we go. But that's for much later. Oh, autosave, okay. Autosave just freezing everything up. That's when you know your model's getting complicated. When autosave comes up and it's just doesn't know what to do. Takes its time. Alright, so pretty consistently I see that the triangles on this side are all pointing more downward than they originally were. The ones on this side are pointing more upward than they originally were. That's probably why I was getting a bunch of weird stuff that I couldn't quite identify. This one I did a little bit too much. Alright, it looks like we're getting near the tip of the strand here. Everything going much faster than it was when I was just trying to feel my way through it all. Really should keep in mind that for areas where I don't think things need to deform too much, that I can just do stuff like this and mimic the original front view a lot more easily. Don't gotta just feel my way through it all and hope for the best. I can use work that's already been done. Help me out. I will definitely keep that in mind for the future. I get the feeling we'll be using that extensively on this big old strand here. So I've been worried about that one. That one kind of scares me. It's long, thin, and kind of all over the place. That sounds like something worth fearing to me. It looks like I'm already almost there. Yeah, so things are going pretty fast now. This is more what I expect from working on strands. Because it's funny, for the left and right head turns, they all came pretty quickly. But for here, going down here on these downward head turns has not been cooperating with me. It's deeply unfortunate. And I guess it happens sometimes. Oh wow, these ones are moving around a lot, aren't they? Well, let's get them back up here where they belong. All of them need to go much, much higher up. The triangles are pointing in this direction. Alright, before I move too much, I want to take another look at the rest of the bang here. Make sure I have everything, I don't know, close enough. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. Because I don't think people will notice slight angle differences. But I figure getting them close now will save me a bit of trouble when it comes time to actually look things over and make sure things are looking right. Because right now I'm basically not even looking at the art. I'm just looking at the lines here, the gray lines, and where they all connect. So that's where the vertices are. So I figured the better I can get those, the closer everything will be to correct when it comes time to actually make sure the art looks good. At least for this angle. And this part of the angle. Yeah, I'm glad I checked, because there are some areas that are still a little bit messy. And I definitely want to make sure that the white part is looking good before I get to kind of the brown or gray parts. Because the white part kind of defines where the gray parts are going to go. I still lament that I did not properly separate them. This is... for anyone interested in learning how to rig, this is why good separation is important. Because now I can have to pull shenanigans to make all of this look right. And I'm not going to have quite as easy of a time. At least here, I'm not trying for perspective effects or anything. Like, I don't really care if it looks like this strand isn't moving behind this one or anything. So in that sense, it wasn't that important to cut. But, It still would have been a bit easier to move around, I think. Alright, time to go deal with all this squirming. Now that I've done a second pass on the higher parts. Maybe someday I will be able to stare at this without just being bothered by how much all of this is moving out of the corner of my eye. So, boy, it's a bit of a mess. So I can already tell that I'm going to have a bit of a time getting all of this into the right place. I'm going to focus on the higher ones first. The place where it kind of connects to the white area. Definitely need to do that before I can worry about anything further down. Yeah, that's already a lot better. Everything kind of coming together there. Alright, now I can start trying to get this curl to come back together and look right. So this was further up. Probably gonna need the brush for that, but let's do it one vertex at a time for now. I'd say I don't know how this area got so distorted, but I absolutely do. Combination of brush tool and mesh group. Just pulling things every which way. Alright, I'll get the start of that curl. And I'll see where this goes. Right, I needed to put the mesh back on. There we go. Okay. So this one needs to go down. This one needs to go up. So what I did with the brush there was just kind of an approximate guess based on how things look. And I think I'm actually going to get rid of the body here just to make things a little bit easier for me to see. Okay, yes. That should definitely make it a bit easier. Alright. Let's see here. Okay. Well, a lot of these do. So I just gotta look very closely at how these vertices are moving. And that's gonna be tricky. Okay, so they need to be straighter. At this point, it might actually be easier to do it without the mesh helping me out. That I am less sure about, but if I feel stuck, I will just try something different. Alright, before I do that, I kind of want to see what the mesh says about this side. Yeah, there's some low-hanging fruit here. So I'll take care of that before I just take away the mesh and actually look at the art for a change. It's okay, different techniques for different problems. Part of me throughout all this is wondering if I could get away with just copy and pasting the default mesh. But then I remembered that I hadn't actually really deformed this area, and that a lot of this was probably just from me messing with the mesh group. And that's why I have to make any changes in the first place. Is the reason that I can't just get away with using the base mesh for any of this. It's just because I'm correcting for some changes that the mesh group made. More or less. Mesh group is very useful for helping with the big picture, but kind of made the details in some areas a little bit off. So I just gotta go back and make them nice. Still worth though. I think it would have been a lot more work to do all this without mesh group support. Oh yes, back to floating head. Bodies are overrated. Alright. So I think that staring at the mesh for so long definitely helped me get things in the right general area. And now I can actually go in and tweak things, get rid of all the crunchiness. All the areas where things aren't quite lining up right. Like here, I'm trying to make nice and smooth now. As before, it was a little bit crunchy. So now I just gotta go back in and get all the details that I missed with the mesh on. Like, I think here needs to be a little bit thinner. Kinda looks like it goes in on the original. Like it swoops. Goes out, comes in, goes back out. That's kind of what I'm seeing there. And then over here, I feel like it kind of comes out a little bit. Roughly the same place that it went in on the other side. So I just kind of want to pull things out just a little here. Try to really get that shape the same. Make it so there's no shifting. Make it so everyone can be happy in their new little area. Let's be real. If you're happy, you're not going to be, like, squirming around and doing all that. Squirming is a sign of discomfort. And I want all my little Vertex friends to be happy. Well, I wasn't expecting this area to be quite this hard. So it looks like I'm probably only going to get this one strand done today. But it's okay, I think it looks better than it would have if I didn't take the necessary time to mess with it. Sometimes things just take longer than I expect. And that's alright. As far as I'm concerned, none of this is a race. Art should be fun and relaxing when you can get away with it. That said, there are definitely some pieces where even if I am taking my time and doing all that, I'm very deliberately trying to learn a new thing, and those are always super intense. So maybe not always relaxing, but hopefully always fun. Yeah, the reason the current drawing that I'm working on, that's kind of what made me think of that, was taking as long as it is because I'm trying many, many new things. And I'm trying to get a lot of those details around those new things right. Which generally means I've had to redraw certain areas like 4 or 5 times before I finally got it right. And had to look up lots of references for things that I think look interesting or that I kind of want to try. And that can be extremely time-consuming. Not necessarily relaxing either. So, okay. Sometimes the art can be super intense. But it was still fun. So I think that's perhaps the important part. Rigging in general I find relaxing though, just because it's a lot of minute details that you just kind of got to go through. And while it's no fun when nothing seems to be working and none of the changes that I make seem to be making it any better, as long as things are kind of moving in a positive direction, I'm generally not too bothered. And I can just kind of chill and gradually move those vertices into place. I guess this is just one of those artistic pursuits that really forces you to slow down. And that on its own can make it relaxing in its own right. Just because you really can't do it fast. Or at least I can't. I guess I've seen some people do speed rigs, but speed rigs I feel like have less to do with the overall speed and more that they use simpler models. I doubt anybody would try to speed rig art like this, for example. The art is just too detailed. That's where I tend to see, like, chibi art or art without shadows, or at least minimal shadows, and that kind of thing. I've also seen some people do some interesting things within the Inochi2D community, where rather than a full VTuber model with like proper head turns and everything, they basically just do a modified pingtuber, where it's mostly a static image, but they add in a little bit of eye movement, a little bit of blinking, and a little bit of bouncing. And honestly, I think models like that can be very effective too. I imagine they're a lot easier to make. Don't have to deal with all the little fiddliness of head turns and all that stuff. I really do enjoy seeing the kinds of things that people make. It's a lot of fun. Oh, hello there, Sojurem. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. Just doing my best to finish up these head turns. Right now I'm doing the downward angle, or more specifically the hair on the downward angle. This character has lots and lots of hair, so it's taken a while. It's okay though, because I like her hair. I think it's pretty. And working with it has been a lot of fun. Alright, I feel like I'm getting somewhere. I am determined to finish this strand of hair before I finish for today. So I don't want to leave this for yet another day too. It's like I don't mind making the small changes, but I'm hoping I can at least have all the big stuff done today. And I'm feeling determined, so I'm going to keep going. Keep going until it's done. So, how are you doing today? Today's gonna be a pretty quiet day for me because my husband's parents are taking my kids to do stuff. So that means I kind of just get to flop around and do what I want. Which for me is probably going to be spending all day drunk. Sounds like a good day to me. Sleepy. Understandable. It's like on the one hand, I'm always happy to see you here, Vivi, but I always feel a little bit bad because I'm just like, oh no. It means you didn't sleep again. I can do it. I totally believe in myself. Right now I've just decided to ignore the lower strands for the time being. In favor of getting this part right. I think it'll be easier to work on the other ones once that part is right. I just wish I could hide them, like I could hide the body. But alas, they are connected to this layer. They are all on the same layer, so I cannot. Just gotta do my best here. I might leave those uncooperative little tips for tomorrow, though. But I think I can at least get the white area here. Because those tips are always a time. I remember on my side head angles, I procrastinated on them for quite a long time. Did a bunch of other hair before I finally went back and actually fixed those. Just because they're low enough down that, normally I don't see them. Not until I start doing tips for other strands of hair on this side. Until then, they can be off screen and I can completely ignore them. Gonna try to not do that this time. I mean, I guess it was fine last time. It worked fine. But, I'd like to just get some of these hard areas done right away and not put them off for later. Yeah, it's still kind of compressing on the top there. This might be a time to go back and revisit the mesh view. Yeah, let's do that. Instead of clicking off this time, I'm just gonna see if I can see any squirming in the vertices. Yeah, that one's definitely going, like, way down. Okay, and that solved the issue that I was having right there. Cool. Alright, got a little bit of shifting on the other side. So I'll bring these a little further up there. Let's take a look here. And this little guy. Yeah, there we go. Pay attention to how much... a little bit more attention to how much the vertices are moving. And hopefully that'll solve some of my issues here. Alright. Autosave, trying to help out again, and freezing the entire program for a brief moment. It's alright, it's doing its best. Alright, it looks like the white part is mostly in place here. I probably won't be able to see it properly until I actually go and fix all these tips. So let's poke at them a little bit here. I think I can do a little bit more. And just lift them on up a little. May not completely finish the tips here today, but I can get them started. See if I can't get them in a relatively decent place. There we go. Let's get this little curl in there because that was bothering me. I feel like right now it's just getting rid of the worst of the squirminess just so I can actually see what's going on. It can actually be pretty hard to see properly when there's just this area squirming out of the corner of my eye. And that's like all I can see. See, like right here, I can see that this strand is getting like bigger. Like it's getting thicker there, so that's something I need to fix. But it's not like squirming and completely messing me up. Whereas like here, this strand here, the curl is way too strong and it's getting longer. So I'm gonna actually fix that first. Just because with the way it's squirming, it's stopping me from being able to see anything else properly. And I can't really trust that I'll be able to get anything else right with this thing just moving so hard out of the corner of my eye. So sometimes I do things in that order. When it comes down to it, I'll just do whatever works. Alright, so how's that? Not right, but a lot better. On the right track. On the right track, and that's kind of what's important. It's as long as I keep making changes that bring things a little bit closer, eventually I'll get there. Okay, and now it's no longer squirming in a way that's bothering me, so I'm gonna go back and work on the top strand a little bit. I'm actually gonna hide this layer, because I know that's gonna bother me. We'll see how much of the tips here I can get done today. So I think the first step to figuring out the tips is figuring out where the gap between them goes. Because that's like one of the strongest landmarks that I have access to. And I think that actually looks pretty good. So hopefully that'll help me figure out the rest. And because of that, I can see that this bottom area is squirming downward so hard. Like, there's so much shifting there. And that's already a lot better. Not right, but better. At this point, I just kind of gotta take things one step at a time. Better is enough. Like I said, as long as things keep getting better, eventually, they will just be in the right place. Yeah, there we go. That's a lot better. Now I can actually start going a little bit further down the tip there. So the area around here is actually quite flat. And like right here over. It kind of flattens a bit and then it goes up into this curl. I remember the first time I had to work with this particular strand, I was very surprised by how flat it was. This might actually be too curled. Yep, it is. You can see right through here, it's very, very flat at the bottom. Very, very flat. So I gotta try to get some of that flatness back. Try to make it look about the same as it does in the front view there. Just because I don't think that this area needs to move that much. Alright. got that good, and I think the rest can be solved. Maybe just pulling this out a little. Got shrunk just a little bit through all that. Right, then needs a little bit more thickness on the top. But I think that will be it. So maybe I can get both of these strands done today. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to. But I guess I'm feeling pretty good today, I admit. Having people actually coming to watch and not just having it be me rambling to myself like an insane person to 0 viewers actually feels quite good. So, yes. Thank you for coming. I am, glad you enjoy watching this. I enjoy doing it. Alright. Still need a little bit more thickness on the top there. And a little bit more length on the tip. Making the changes small. Don't want to make them too big. Because I feel like a lot of the times when I make them too big that they just I have to dial it back. And it's just easier to keep pushing things a little further forward in several steps than it is to just push it back. Well, keeping it small, keeping it subtle. It's easy to do. Alright. I think it's probably like 90% of the way there. Don't worry about it. I had, it was funny. Before I got started, I was actually really worried. It's like, was I going to be able to talk to myself for an hour every day and just go? And then I did my first stream and it was way easier than I thought it was going to be. I can totally ramble to myself like an insane person for an hour. It's fine. Chatting is a bonus, not a requirement. That moment on, I was like, you know, if people just watched the VODs and never showed up live, or if people showed up live and just didn't feel like talking, I'd be totally fine. And I still feel that way. So I say, the chatting is a bonus. I can keep going. And honestly, when it comes to talking to myself like this, I think it's actually helped me figure things out to an extent, because I'm here just trying to vocalize what I'm doing in the moment. And I've never had to, like, put my process into words or what I'm trying to accomplish into words before I started streaming. And forcing myself to do that kind of actually helped clarify certain things about how I work and what I like doing and what I'm trying to accomplish with each step. So it's actually been helpful. I mean, I describe it as talking to myself like an insane person because it kind of feels that way sometimes, but I actually do think that it's been helpful. Just for my own artistic growth. It's fascinating. I know that there's lots of studies on what, like, journaling or just trying to communicate those thoughts can do for things like mental health and pursuing goals and that kind of thing. But it never seemed quite as effective for me until I just really started doing this. So I'm a believer now. Because I can feel it. Alright, let's see. I think it's getting there. Yeah, tucked in the very, very bottom vertex a little bit too much. So I'll pull him back up. Alright, I think that's looking pretty good. I guess I'll turn her body back on. Oh, and we'll get rid of the bald spot too. Assuming I can find... There it is. I was gonna say, assuming I could find the layer. And yeah, I think things are looking pretty good in that area now. We'll see what the me of tomorrow thinks. Because I do think that is where I will stop for today. I made my goal of actually getting that bang done. So, I'll take it. Right, well, thank you all for coming. If you'd like me to take a look at your own creative projects, whether that be art, writing, coding, game design, or any other creative pursuit you can think of, feel free to message or at me on Twitter or Instagram and I'll take a look and maybe leave some comments. I'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.